The concept of lineage. Concomitant with the notion of race, there is the notion of lineage, that is to say the hereditary transmission, of which the lof is the guarantor, family tree. Whether in horses, cattle or dogs, nothing says that a descendant of a line of champions will be a champion himself. It will certainly be more likely to have a transmission of specific morphological characteristics, physical aptitudes linked to this morphology, but again no typical behavior. On the other hand, within a race or between races, crossing the most docile or calm subjects will tend to produce more docile and calm subjects. Experiment of Dmitri Beliaev. But this argument does not hold if we know that the calmest dog in the world can be conditioned in less than 1 month to become the most aggressive dog there is, even a chihuahua, while the reverse, in this specific case, will very rarely be possible. Does race have an influence? In terms of race, we observe that this notion often conditions our relationship with the dog due to the very fact of these pseudo-racial behaviors. We will be more wary of a German Shepherd, take a Cocker Spaniel for a stuffed animal, and thus we will be more authoritarian with one and perfectly lax with the other. Therefore, there is every chance that these dogs will develop expected behaviors, prophesied, because it is our relationship with them that will tend to develop them, ontogenesis, or just as much more unexpected behaviors such as aggression. It is the supposedly nicest dogs that cause the most bites. Expecting behavioral characteristics from morphological characteristics is the surest way to develop the worst characteristics at the expense of the best ones. A dog is a dog, a pacifist at heart with man, who only needs to express it. He also has an extraordinary capacity for learning. Behavior and choice of a purebred dog. If we wanted to define criteria for choosing a purebred dog, we would first have to know its needs and aptitudes. This is above all at the level of the 4 natural branches, then, within each, in terms of the morphology and aesthetics that suits each one. There are nevertheless some characteristic behavioral traits linked to their origin or more precisely, to characteristics specific to their evolution, abilities. The choice. Choosing a purebred dog can only be conceived through its natural branch, which makes the appearance of certain types of behavior more likely. But nothing says genetically that they will be present, nor in what proportion and intensity. Letting yourself be swayed by pseudo-racial behavior is the best way to get them, worst, or to get quite the opposite, even worse. It seems logical that a heavy-boned hound needs a lot of quiet, a greyhound a lot of space to roam, a hunter a lot of exploration, and a herder a lot of interaction. But that doesn't go any further. Canis familiaris lineare, greyhounds. Greyhounds are dogs that require a lot of activity. They are cut for running, sprinting, not for staying locked up or exposed all day. It is especially at the level of this activity or non-activity that they can develop specific behaviors. With a fairly fragile skeleton, it is their musculature that makes all the difference. As they run very fast and very far, it is important to put in place initial socialization, from 3/4 of a week, a very close relationship with humans, very playful, in order to be able to control them from a distance, and not train them. Finally, we must not forget that a large greyhound, Irish greyhound, for example, can be as formidable as a guard dog as a Rottweiler. Mother Optimus family dog, breeds Bergers. Shepherd breeds are those with the most social skills, in essence, possessing the richest and most diversified range of behaviors. They should then have as much autonomy as possible to express this richness, whereas it is the races that are most conditioned. However, its qualities are numerous. It is probably the most mimetic type of dog with its master, the most capable of adapting to all situations, the most sensitive to human emotions. Sheepdogs are particularly observant, very attentive and sensitive to the slightest variation in their environment, which often makes people say, wrongly, that they are fearful, barking, biting. They are really dogs to be reserved for very active owners, rich and varied environment, with a lot of benevolence, patience and availability, as well as a natural authority, charisma. Canis familiaris intermedius, Spaniels, Griffons and Spits. With a distinctly more developed sense of smell than other breeds, Spaniels, Griffons and Spits are more autonomous than many others. They will therefore have wilder behavioral tendencies, mainly in terms of predation, hunting, but if these are not overdeveloped, they will remain at a perfectly manageable level. However, it will be necessary to take this flair into account in learning in order to derive all the benefits and not the harm. Fugue. Some of these breeds are called pointing. This may be true for some, but not for all subjects. Many other subjects of other races also have this natural behavior, even hounds. The guarantees of an excellent cohabitation will then be initial socialization in the presence of several other species, playful learning using their olfactory abilities, searching for mushrooms or hidden objects, for example, varied walks, a good relationship, confident and playful at the same time. Canis familiaris innistrans we, Molossers, Mastiffs, Cowherds. Due to their very heavy bone structure, Molossers, Mastiffs and Cowherds are rather placid breeds that do not spend their energy unnecessarily. Long and repetitive apprenticeships are painful and of little benefit to them. Often described as baby or rantaplan, they are however dogs that only require a few simple instructions as they are aware of their strength and power. They also have an excellent relationship with humans, reliability. They are generally very protective, which is not without its problems. They then tend to want to intervene during virile interactions between humans, even of joy, to face danger, even to calm children who are a little too turbulent. This is where the relationship with him will take on all its importance. We can still say that in good, gentle, reliable and responsible hands, they are the most pleasant and docile dogs there are. More specific breeds. There are breeds with more specific anatomical characteristics, such as the Newfoundland which has webbed feet. All dogs can swim by essence, but a Newfoundland has more ability than others to do so. However, if he never goes into the water, he will never develop any particular problems. In particular, the risk, if he no longer goes in the water, is that his webbed feet will disappear, genetic mutation, but that in a few hundred or even thousand years.